Hi, I'm Joe Walensky, and in this UAcast I want to talk about a certain PDF manual. Yes, they still do exist. In fact, with any kind of robust software app, I think you have to at least seriously consider making a PDF manual one of the user assistance components that you provide, recognizing that different people like to learn in different ways. This manual is provided for the Sketchbook mobile app. It's not too common to see a manual for smartphone apps, but here you go. It's available for download from the Sketchbook site, and I also have it posted in the related article on Walensky.com. One of the first things that I want to look at is to show you that it does a lot of work explaining gestures that are unique to this app. I've been talking about this issue for a while. There are many ways for app-specific interactions to be added to touch apps, and if your app does that, you need to provide help to your users. So here it starts by talking about its marking menu. I never heard the term marking menu before, but I guess I wasn't paying attention because the term goes back at least to Bill Buxton in 1993. I always just called it a pop-up menu. No worries about that. It gave me an excuse to look back at some old papers, and I found Buxton's paper and referenced that in the Walensky.com post to this video. So the user guide talks about the marking menu. Then they bring up the concept of a tap drag. At first I thought they meant a sliding motion, but no, you first tap what they call the puck and then release, then immediately slide the puck to get an effect. It's a very unconventional interaction, and I really can't see any way that people would know how to do this unless there's some type of user assistance provided to help them out. Another thing you see a lot in the guide are very literal examples using fingers to show motion. So you see that here and here. And here's another example up here. I've mentioned in other posts that this is something you may need to do now and for the next year or so with touch apps. Eventually touch will be familiar to most people, and a literal representation probably won't be necessary, but right now it may be the case that you need to do something like this. Even Apple includes literal representations of fingers in their PDF user guides for the iPhone and the iPad. I like what they've done with magnified views of items that are in the user interface. So here you can see a pop-out of what's on the screen, and another example is here, and you can see that here also. I think that that helps highlight what they want you to look at in what would otherwise be a very small screen capture. And then they also show magnified changed views, which you can see an example of here. So in the app, the image on the screen will change, and they show a sequence of motion for that. I think it was a good decision to use icons as the object noun in steps rather than the icon label. For example, here and here, and they They do that throughout the documentation. For the most part, users don't remember the names of app controls. Now the downside is that I'm never going to know what to call the thingamajig if I ever happen to be talking about the app with someone else. But then does that ever happen? It always does bother me about how to get it to fit gracefully into my page layout. If the icon is always at the top of a paragraph, then you end up with enough breathing room and it works out okay. Speaking of breathing room, the overall layout here uses quite a lot of white space. Just page through the document a little bit. This document could have been exceptionally dense with text and subsequently been very boring. But the use of the graphics and the layout I think works well. The prose is fairly restrained, and for the most part the images can tell the story. You know, all this being said about what I like here, the entire manual is a feature-based reference rather than the more progressive user-centered style. There's no task orientation, and that's definitely a flaw. It would have been better to take the user through common scenarios first and then back that up with the reference detail. Well, I hope you're able to get some useful information out of that, and good luck with all your projects. Thank you.